but we should not make a deal. The deal is dangerous and it will lead us to another civil strife.
The fear here is the Afghan government is desperate to strike any deal with the Taliban and other groups, and they are doing so behind closed doors. Saleh wouldn't be more specific about the alleged deals, but said many Afghans are worried.
My message to President Karzai is very simple. The absolute majority of Afghans want a strong state. You have heard his speeches. When there are blasts in Afghanistan, civilians are killed. He does not attribute it to people who claim we have done it.
This is one of Amrullah Saleh's support base, the Panjshir Valley, the hometown and stronghold of Ahmad Shah Massoud, the assassinated leader of the Northern Alliance, the Tajik force that fought the Taliban. Amrullah Saleh was his close aide. It's still not clear how much support Saleh has and whether it does come from across the ethnic divide, but he is optimistic.
So we will not remain grassroots forever. This is one day going to be a national level political movement.
National movement, that may be difficult. Ethnic groups vie for political power, which in the past has led to bloody conflicts. But Saleh says that is his goal, because there are two paths. Afghanistan could either become further polarized or united. Zana Khudr, AlJazeera, Panjshir Valley.
And now let's find out what's going on with weather. Here's Everton. What is going on with all that weather, Everton?
Well, a bit of everything, actually. Even if we just look at the US, actually, we've had the flooding rains down across that southwestern corner through California. We've got the snow now making its way across the northern plains. We've got some very warm weather, actually, into the southeastern corner. Temperatures here getting up into the mid to high 20s, so some very agreeable weather. But over towards that northeastern side, down towards DC, of course, we heard about the National Christmas tree getting
the National Christmas tree
down.
And the winds there.
Very strong winds indeed, still in place. We'll start with the snow that's making its way through. You can see this huge massive cloud now crossing the Rockies, pulling through the central and northern plains, expanding in the process. And look at that. That is in the process of bringing a massive whiteout across the Rockies, right the way through the Dakotas, right the way across into the Great Lakes, right through the Midwest there. And I think for some we will see as much as 50 centimetres of snow. So the best part of 2 feet of snow to come. Some heavy rain to the south of that. And here's that warmth that I spoke about a little further south. Dallas getting up to 23 degrees and a 26 there for Miami. We will see temperatures starting to pick up too for DC, but you can see through the remainder of Sunday, still some very strong northeasterly winds in place. They'll switch around to more of a southwesterly direction, a warmer direction, so 18 Celsius by that stage. Still some heavy rain around the Appalachian Mountains towards New York, and then it's snow to the north of that, still snowing across a good part of the Great Lakes. Come down to the Caribbean and it's set fair. Some lovely sunshine to come here. Temperatures typically getting up to around 27, 28 Celsius. A few showers a possibility, mainly to the south of Jamaica, maybe seeing some showers into southern parts of Central America. For Europe, well, again, it's a bit of a wintry mix with snow for many eastern parts.
All right, if you've been waiting for those election results that are coming in, I think we can now listen to the official results in Uganda being announced about the presidential election. Let's listen in.
Which fall within those municipalities in this country. And finally, another major one, which will be national. On 7th March, local government 3, that is sub-county government. That's another big one. So you talk about sleepless nights. Yes, this is why I'm proud of all Electoral Commission staff. I'm not saying they're angels, because nobody as a human being can be an angel. But I appeal to them to remain resolute. I appeal to them to remain responsive to the legal undertakings. I appeal to them never to be ever compromised by anybody along the way. Never, my staff, bear with me. Let us stay that firm, that resolute, to deliver what the law requires to do. The results that I'm going to declare are from 23,851 polling stations out of 23,968 polling stations where elections took place. This is a very big margin, but at the time of gazetting, we shall have picked all those residual elections so that the gazette, which will come out in a week's time, will have all those covered. But we have passed the threshold, which is a very big threshold. For God and my country, I'd like to sign this statement, and then I'll go to the declaration. Copies of this statement will be made available. Presidential elections, which were held on 18th February 2011, this is a declaration of final results, dated 20th February, and the time is about 4:20, yes, about 4:25, but we have 4:20 on here because that's when I started actually doing the reading of the statement. That declaration of results when there is a winning candidate. Under Article 103, Clause 7 of the Constitution and Section 57 of the Presidential Elections Act, whereas a presidential election was held on the 18th day of February 2011, at which the candidates were Abed Wanika, Besigye Kiza Kifefe, Olive Kamya Namisango, Bidandi Sali Jaberi, Mao Nobat, Olara Otunu, Samuel Ruvega, Mukaku Walter, and Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And whereas polling for the presidential election closed at 5 p.m. on the 18th day of February 2011, and whereas the Electoral Commission has ascertained the results of the presidential elections as required by the Act which I've just cited, Act 103, Clause 7, very, very clear and very powerful. Now, therefore, in the exercise of powers conferred on the Electoral Commission by Article 103, and by the way, you cannot find this provision in the Constitution anywhere in Africa. This is why it's so unique, and I'm very proud of that instrument. I thank the engineers, those who sat in the Constituent Assembly, who have come up with these provisions, and others, constitutionally, very powerful, makes us an exception on this continent. Article 103, Clause 7 of the Constitution, and Section 57 of the Presidential Elections Act. The Commission publishes and declares the results of the presidential election as follows. Candidate's name, political party organization or stroke independent, number of valid votes polled by each candidate, percentage total of valid votes cast. Those are the columns that I shall be reading the values under. Abed Wanika, People's Development Party,